Go ahead, sir.
Stephen, don't you think these animals you've killed want to live as much as you or I do? In fact, isn't this just a rationalization for murdering innocent creatures?
Can we just take a second to admire that this old man has called this guy out on his bullshit? Not very often do you hear the older generation concerned about animal life in any kind of way.
To shoot innocent animals, animals that have beating hearts that run from you simply because they want to live. They're not armed with copper bullets or lead bullets.
I think you're not really asking a question, you're making a point, but I'm going to answer like a question.
Well, to be fair, he was asking a question. His question was, isn't this just a rationalization for killing innocent animals?
I would say that if you look at the grand spectrum of species on this planet, you treat humans like a species, you know, we're one. You'll not find many that don't prey on other kinds.
What on earth are you talking about? There are tons of animals that don't prey on other animals. It sounds like he's going to justify human behavior based off of animal behavior, so this should be good.
People say generally, behaviorally and anatomically modern humans have been around for maybe 75,000 years. On this continent alone, people hunted for 15,000 years, notwithstanding the last couple hundred years. So to not hunt is in some way historically off the mark.
Okay, he made a beeline for the tradition argument instead of going off of what animals do. Kind of weird, but okay, go ahead.
To not hunt is a fairly new experiment in a human sense.
An experiment? Like not hunting is something that needs to be tested to see if it works? Are you kidding me? Where does this guy live? You go to the store to buy food. Where does hunting figure into that?
To ask a wolf not to hunt anymore is an impossible question.
Very obvious straw man. No one's asking a wolf not to hunt. We're asking people with moral agency who have a second option to not hunt.
You know? So if someone comes to me and says that they don't want human hunting, we don't want to hunt, I kind of am like, coming from what perspective?
Coming from the perspective that animals want to live. So to kill them against their will is wrong. And also, we do not need to do it in Western society. So by every definition, it is needless.
The life is sacred.
Just to be clear, all life is not sacred. I think he means life that can experience well-being is sacred. And even then, sacred is kind of a religious term. I would say valuable.
Yeah, I know that life is sacred.
Yeah, you say all life is sacred, but I guarantee the next words that come out of your mouth will contradict that thought.
But I think that what I admire is not, I admire the deer.
Man, I'm jealous of the deer. I wish someone had admired me enough to kill me.
But I admire the idea of deer more than the individual deer.
Yeah, me too. I admire the idea of humans more than the actual individual humans. So I'm going to continue in my ways of hunting and killing humans, even though it's needless. And if you're going to say that's a false analogy, name the difference.
And I can assure you that I know more about deer than you ever will.
Well, since you're the authority on deer, enlighten us. Tell us the difference between a deer and a human that makes it okay to kill the deer, but horrific to kill the human.
And I've learned that through hunting for them. And I probably care about them in a way that's deeper than something you're going to experience from having a removed perspective on it.
We care about them deep enough to see that it's wrong to kill them against their will, and you do not. Any care that you have for them is not for their well-being. If that were the case, you wouldn't kill them.
But beyond that, I can't really say that much because, like all predatory animals with canine teeth, you know, we eat meat.
Ah yes, the famous canines though. Let's play devil's advocate here for a second. If we were designed to eat meat, that's nowhere near a moral argument for why it's okay to eat meat. It's been proven clearly by the existence of vegans that you can survive without meat. Meaning that if you eat meat, it's needless. I don't know how to make it any more clear than that. In the 20 years I've been on this earth, I've never eaten meat. I'm fine.
And if you're going to eat it, if you're going to agree that some people can eat it and do eat it, I don't think you can fairly point out a hunter and say that he's the vicious one because he chose to go out and harvest it himself, and that the other people who just have other perspective on it or let it go on outside of their view are A-okay.
Well, yeah, anyone pointing at you and saying that you're bad, but then they also buy food at the store that caused the death of an animal, they're being hypocritical. Both are wrong.
I think it's ridiculous. But like I said, I don't think you're really asking the question. I understand what you're saying, and
No, I wanted your answer. I want to thank you. And if you'll read my pamphlet on veganism, I'll read your book.
This old guy's actually vegan. Grandfather of the Year award, hands down.
Really? How long is your pamphlet?
I don't really get the joke that much, but if you're saying that his points are illegitimate because he has a short pamphlet, I would say that the validity of someone's argument doesn't hinge on how long their argument is. And of course, vice versa. You can't just dismiss someone's argument because it's too long for you to care about.
Take you much less time with the book.
That's a deal, man. I'll read it tonight, I promise. Honestly, I respect where you're coming from because I have always had admiration for the cohesiveness and clarity of veganism.
I really hope it's not the same kind of admiration you have for deer.
It doesn't strike me as being unusual.
Well, it should. I mean, if you think killing deer and killing animals needlessly is okay, then the idea of not doing that should be unusual to you.
It doesn't strike me as being anything. It's like a perspective. And I would rather have you over for dinner than someone who is feeding their pet, you know, little chunks of meat they buy at a store and then acting like I'm some kind of vicious animal for killing a deer, so.
Thank you.
All right, closing thoughts, I would just say he started out with a few fallacies that he didn't really follow through to the end. He said something about, we've been doing it for a long time, we have canines, other animals hunt and kill animals, of course, none of them being valid arguments. I don't think he really gets what morality means. Increasing well-being, decreasing suffering. It's that simple. I absolutely love the old guy in the back for being vegan and for challenging this guy. I think he should have pressed him harder on his points instead of just letting him monologue, but, you know, still a great guy either way. Steven wrote a book on why it's okay to hunt and eat meat, so I don't assume he'll ever change his opinion on it. So you can expect in the future me to do more videos debunking his arguments or lack thereof. So until next time.